My girlfriend announced, "I'm pregnant. You need to buy us a house now." I said, "Congrats on the baby." When I asked for a paternity test before any money talk, she lost it. Her trust issues rant accidentally exposed. She was only 3 weeks along, and the timeline didn't add up. I, 29 male, am an actuary. If you don't know what that is, basically I assess risk for a living. I look at numbers, variables, and probability, and I tell companies if a bad thing is likely to happen and how much it's going to cost them. I live my life by logic, spreadsheets, and calculated decisions. My girlfriend, 26 female, however, is chaos incarnate. We've been together for 2 years. The first year was that blinding, chemical kind of love where you ignore the fact that she has $15,000 in credit card debt because she has a great laugh. The second year, though, has been a slow-motion car crash of financial incompatibility. I own my apartment outright. It's a decent 3-bedroom place in the city, paid off thanks to aggressive saving and a trust fund left by my grandfather. My girlfriend moved in 6 months ago. She works part-time in marketing, but she spends money like she's printing it in the basement. I cover the bills, the groceries, the utilities, and the vacations. Her money is her fun money, which usually translates to designer shoes and brunches that cost more than my car insurance. I didn't mind at first because I make a good living and I loved her, but lately the requests stopped being requests and started feeling like ransom demands. The explosion happened after I got back from Seattle. I had been gone for exactly 32 days on a massive consulting project. It was grueling, 18-hour days, hotel food, and falling asleep on FaceTime calls. I was exhausted. When I landed, I just wanted to order a pizza and sleep for a week. Instead, girlfriend insisted we go to this ultra-expensive steakhouse downtown. She was vibrating with energy, checking her reflection in the knife, tapping her nails on the table. I thought maybe she missed me. We hadn't even ordered appetizers when she slammed her hand on the linen tablecloth. "I'm pregnant," she announced. Her voice wasn't soft or loving. It was aggressive. I froze. My brain tried to switch gears from tired traveler to potential father. But before I could even formulate a smile or a question, she bulldozed right over the moment. "You need to buy us a house. Now." A real house, with a yard. I found one in the hills. It's $850,000. I told the realtor you'd put the offer in tomorrow morning. The whiplash was violent. She skipped the "we're having a baby" emotional bonding moment and went straight to a real estate transaction. It felt cold. Transactional. Like she had been rehearsing this pitch to a venture capitalist. "Congrats on the baby," I said, my voice steady despite my heart hammering against my ribs. I took a long sip of water to buy time. But we aren't buying an $850,000 house tomorrow. We live in a perfectly good 3-bedroom apartment that is paid off. We have 0 housing costs. Her eyes narrowed into slits. This apartment is a bachelor pad. It's not safe for a child. There are sharp edges everywhere. And I'm not raising my baby in the city with all this pollution. I want the house. You have the money in your investment accounts. I checked. That violated a major boundary. She knew about the accounts, but she wasn't supposed to be logging into my iPad to snoop through my portfolio. "That money is for retirement and emergencies," I said, keeping my voice low because the couple at the next table was starting to stare. "And regardless, we don't make nearly $1 million financial decisions under duress. Let's talk about the pregnancy first. Have you been to a doctor?" "I took 3 home tests," she hissed. "I know my body." "Okay," I nodded, my actuary brain kicking in. "Then the next step is a doctor to confirm. And naturally, given the magnitude of this, and the fact that you're asking me to liquidate assets and change our entire life plan in 24 hours, I'll need a paternity test before I sign any mortgage or birth certificate." The restaurant went silent for me. She looked at me like I had just insulted her ancestors. Then she lost it. "A paternity test?" she shrieked. "You think I'm some kind of cheater? I am carrying your child, and you're worried about your precious bank account? This is exactly why I need the house in my name too. I need security because you clearly don't trust me." "It's not about trust, it's about verification," I said calmly. Standard procedure for high-stakes situations. If the baby is mine, you get the world. If not, of course it's yours, she interrupted, tears instantly springing to her eyes. It felt like a performance. I have been loyal to you. I've been sick for weeks. I'm 3 weeks along. Look at the test. She shoved her phone in my face.
It was a picture of a digital test.
The screen clearly read, pregnant 2 to 3 weeks. My brain stopped. Then it restarted. Then it did the math. Wait, I said. The test says 2 to 3 weeks.
Yes.
That means I'm pregnant. No, I said slowly. Those digital tests estimate weeks since conception. If it says 2 to 3 weeks, you conceived 2 to 3 weeks ago. So? What's your point? You're trying to confuse me with math. My point, I said, my voice dropping an octave, is that 2 to 3 weeks ago, I was in Seattle. I had been in Seattle for 10 days by that point. We didn't see each other. We didn't sleep together. Her face drained of color. The transition from righteous indignation to sheer panic was instant. She realized the slip. I meant medical weeks, she stammered. Doctors add 2 weeks. Everyone knows that. Even if you add 2 weeks for medical dating, I said, that puts conception at 5 weeks ago. 5 weeks ago, I was dealing with the server migration crisis. I was working until 2 a.m. every night. I came home to sleep, and you were already asleep. We haven't been intimate in 6 weeks, since before the stress of this project started. The silence at the table was heavy. She started scrolling frantically on her phone, her hands shaking. You're lying, she said, trying to gaslight me in real time. We had sex the morning you left.
No.
We didn't. I left at 4 a.m. for the airport. You were hungover from girls' night. She stood up, knocking her chair back loudly. I can't believe you. You're trying to wiggle out of your responsibility. You just don't want to pay for the house. My mother was right about you. You're stingy. She stormed out of the restaurant, leaving me with the bill and a sinking feeling that my life was about to become a war zone. I didn't chase her. I paid the check, went to my car, and sat there for a long time. I realized that if she was 2 to 3 weeks post-conception, she had been with someone else while I was working my tail off in Seattle. And I had a gut feeling I knew who it was. I drove home, but I didn't go inside immediately. I parked down the street and checked the security camera app on my phone. She was there, pacing the living room, phone pressed to her ear. I watched her gestures, sharp, angry chops of the hand. She was rallying the troops. When I finally walked in, the atmosphere was toxic. She was sitting on the couch, arms crossed. But she wasn't alone. Her mother, 50s F, was there. Her mother has always treated me like a wallet with
legs.
So, Mother started without a greeting. My daughter tells me you're abandoning her and your unborn child. I'm not abandoning anyone, I said, hanging on my coat. I'm asking for proof of paternity because the timeline makes it biologically impossible for me to be the father. Science isn't perfect, Mother yelled. Stress changes cycles. You were away. Maybe she got the dates wrong. But for you to accuse her of cheating? After she's cooked for you and cleaned for you. Girlfriend has never cooked a meal in her life. We order out or I cook. The dates aren't a little off, I said. They are off by a month. And I'm not buying an $850,000 house for a child that isn't mine. Girlfriend stood up, tears streaming down her face. You're abusive. This is financial abuse. I need stability. If you don't buy the house, I'm going to tell everyone what you're doing. I'll post it everywhere. Local actuary abuses pregnant girlfriend. Do you know what that will do to your career? Blackmail. She was threatening my livelihood. If you do that, I said, I will sue you for defamation. And I will win. Because I have my flight logs, my hotel receipts, and the text messages from you saying how much you missed me while I was gone. You need to leave, Mother said, pointing at the door. My daughter needs rest. You need to go stay at a hotel until you come to your senses and sign the papers for the house. This is my apartment, I said, laughing dryly. My name is on the deed. If anyone is leaving, it's you. I live here. Girlfriend screamed. I have rights. You can't kick out a pregnant woman. She was right. In my state, she had established tenancy. I couldn't just throw her out without a process. But I wasn't going to leave my own home to them. I'm going to sleep in the guest room, I said. Do not disturb me. I locked the guest room door and barricaded it with a chair, just in case. I didn't sleep. Instead, I opened my laptop and started digging. If she was cheating, there had to be a trail. She wasn't smart enough to be careful. I logged into our shared cell phone plan. I paid the bill, so I had admin access. I pulled her call and text logs for the last month. There it was. A number she texted constantly. Late at night. Early morning. Pictures sent. I didn't recognize the number initially. I plugged it into a reverse lookup tool. Stepbrother. My stomach dropped. My stepbrother, 30M, has always resented me. My father married his mother when we were teens. My grandfather left me the inheritance because I was his blood, and he never liked stepmother. Stepbrother got nothing. He's been bitter about it for a decade, always making snide comments about my silver spoon. I looked at the dates. While I was in Seattle, she had spent 4 weekends in a row at a location that my Find My Friends, which she forgot to turn off, pinned right at stepbrother's apartment complex. The betrayal was double-layered. My girlfriend and my stepbrother. And now, they were trying to pin his baby on me to get a house, effectively funneling my inheritance to him through her. It was a heist. A long con. The next morning, the entitlement ramped up. I walked into the kitchen to find girlfriend purchasing baby furniture online. I bought the crib, she said casually, as if she hadn't threatened to ruin my life 12 hours ago. It was $1,200, and I booked a prenatal massage. I put it on your Amex. I canceled the Amex this morning, I said, pouring coffee. Her head snapped up. You what? I canceled all the cards you have access to. I also froze my credit. If you want to buy things, use your own money. I can't afford a $1,200 crib, she screamed. Then maybe you shouldn't have ordered it. You are starving your child. Mother chimed in from the living room. She had stayed the night. This is neglect. The child is the size of a poppy seed, I said. It doesn't need a $1,200 crib yet. And it's not my child. It is yours. Girlfriend insisted. And even if the timing is weird, you're the one with the money. You stepped up as a partner. You should raise it regardless. That's what a real man would do. There it was. The admission buried in the manipulation. Even if the timing is weird, she knew. I'm going to work, I said. When I come back, I expect Mother to be gone. She's staying. Girlfriend yelled. She's my support system since you're being a monster. I left the house and went straight to a lawyer. I laid it all out. The timeline, the threats, the text to stepbrother, the demand for the house. You have a squatter situation, the lawyer said. We have to serve her a 30-day notice to quit. But regarding the paternity, do not sign the acknowledgement of paternity at the hospital. If you sign that, you're on the hook for 18 years, DNA or not. As for the house, do not buy it. Obviously. I want to nail them, I said. She's trying to defraud me. And my stepbrother isn't on it. Legal revenge is slow, the lawyer warned. But if you want to expose them, do it before the baby is born. Once the baby is here, the courts prioritize the child's welfare over your feelings. I formulated a plan. I needed to get them all in one room. I went home that night and played the role of the beaten-down partner. I looked exhausted. Fine, I told girlfriend. I'm tired of fighting. If you say it's mine, I'll trust you. I'll look at the house papers. Her eyes lit up. Really?
Yes.
But if we're doing this, we're doing it right. I want to have a dinner this weekend. Invite your mom. I'll invite my dad and stepmom. And stepbrother. We should celebrate the family expanding. She hesitated for a split second when I mentioned stepbrother, but her greed won out. She wanted to show off that she had won. Okay, she smiled, a predatory grin. I knew you'd come around. You just needed to realize you were wrong. Yeah, I said. I did. Saturday arrived. The tension in my apartment was palpable. masked by the smell of catered Italian food. Girlfriend was glowing, not from pregnancy, but from the perceived victory. She wore a tight dress that accentuated a non-existent bump, playing the part perfectly. My father, 60s M, and stepmom arrived first. My dad gave me a stiff hug. He's a man of few words, but he respects success. Stepmom was already cooing over girlfriend. Then came mother, looking smug, walking around my apartment like she already owned it. Finally, stepbrother arrived. He looked nervous. He wouldn't meet my eye. He gave girlfriend a quick, stiff side hug. The air between them crackled with secret intimacy. We sat down to dinner. Girlfriend sat at the head of the table, my seat, engaging in maximum entitlement. So, stepmom gushed. Have you looked at nurseries? Oh, yes, girlfriend said, sipping sparkling cider. We're actually making an offer on a house in the hills tomorrow. Opie finally agreed it's best for the baby. Stepbrother choked on his water. He looked at me, shocked. He knew I wasn't stupid. He was wondering how she pulled it off. That's a big step, Dad said, looking at me. The market is high right now. It is, I agreed, standing up. But big news deserves big changes. Actually, I have a presentation. A presentation? Mother scoffed. Always the actuary. I connected my laptop to the large TV in the living room, visible from the dining table. I want to clarify the timeline, I said, so everyone understands why this is such a miracle. I clicked a button. A calendar appeared on the screen. It showed my travel dates to Seattle in bright red blocks. I was gone from the 1st to the 31st, I said. The room went quiet. According to girlfriend's digital test and her doctor, conception occurred between the 15th and the 20th. I clicked again. A new graphic appeared. It was the text log between girlfriend and stepbrother. Thousands of messages. And then the photos. Nothing explicit enough to be illegal, but intimate.
Selfies of them in bed.
A picture of a positive pregnancy test sent to him 3 days before she told me. The caption from her to him read, *, don't worry, babe. I'll make him pay for it. We'll get the house, and then I'll leave him in a year. You'll be the dad. He'll just be the wallet. *. The silence was deafening. It was absolute. Girlfriend's face went gray. Stepmom gasped, hand over her mouth. Stepbrother stood up, his chair screeching against the floor. You hacked her phone. That's illegal. Actually, it's a shared family plan paid for by me, I said coldly. And you're missing the point. I turned to my dad. He was staring at stepbrother with a look of pure disgust. You, Dad said, pointing a shaking finger at stepbrother. You slept with your brother's girlfriend? They aren't married. Stepbrother yelled, his entitlement spilling out. And why should he have everything? He has the money, the job, the apartment. I have nothing. I deserve a break. So you decided to defraud me? I asked. You conspired to have me buy an $850,000 asset, sign a birth certificate for a child that isn't mine, and then steal it. I'm pregnant. Girlfriend shrieked, slamming the table. You can't do this to me in front of people. I need that house. My baby needs a home. Your baby has a father, I said, pointing at stepbrother. He can buy you a house. He works at a gas station, she screamed, revealing exactly what she thought of him. Stepbrother flinched visibly.
Get out, I said.
No, mother yelled. We have tenant rights. You have to give 30 days notice. I anticipated that, I said. I pulled a manila envelope from under the table. Here is your formal 30-day notice to quit. You have until the end of the month to vacate the premises. If you damage anything, I will sue you for destruction of property. If you steal anything, I will file police reports. And you, I looked at stepbrother. I suggest you leave before I call the cops for trespassing. You aren't a tenant. Stepmom was crying softly. Dad stood up. He walked over to stepbrother. You are a disgrace, Dad said quietly. Do not contact me. Dad, wait, stepbrother started. I am not your father right now, Dad said. I'm his. He put a hand on my shoulder. The dinner party ended in chaos. Stepbrother stormed out. Girlfriend and mother ran to the bedroom and locked the door, screaming obscenities. Dad and stepmom stayed to help me clean up the food. "I'm sorry," stepmom whispered to me. I had no idea he was capable of this. "It's not your fault," I said. But the revenge wasn't done. I had one more lever to pull. The next 30 days were hell, but a controlled hell. I moved all my valuables to a storage unit. I installed cameras in the common areas, fully legal in my state as long as it's not bathrooms or bedrooms, to ensure they didn't trash the place. They tried to break the TV, but stopped when they saw the red light of the camera blinking. They cranked the heat up to 90 degrees to run up my bill. I locked the thermostat with a code. They left dishes everywhere. I piled them in front of their bedroom door. They moved out on day 29. The apartment was dirty, but structurally sound. However, stepbrother thought the worst was over. He thought he just lost a free house. He was wrong. My grandfather's trust, which I manage as a co-trustee with my dad, had a clause regarding conduct unbecoming for any discretionary beneficiaries. Stepbrother wasn't a main beneficiary, but he received a monthly stipend from a smaller family pot intended to help with his education. Education he never pursued. I called a meeting with the trust lawyer and Dad. He attempted fraud. I presented the evidence. He conspired to deceive a primary beneficiary, me, to misappropriate trust funds. Dad didn't hesitate. Cut him off. We stopped the stipend. Stepbrother lost his $2,500 a month allowance immediately. Then came the legal cleanup regarding the baby. Girlfriend tried to put my name on the birth certificate anyway when the baby was born 6 months later. Because we weren't married, she couldn't automatically add me, but she tried to apply for state aid and named me as the father to force child support. The state came knocking. I handed them the court-ordered DNA test results, which I compelled her to take, and the text messages admitting the scheme. The court determined I was not the father. Stepbrother was summoned. He was determined to be the father. Here is the beautiful irony. Stepbrother is broke. Girlfriend is broke. But because stepbrother is the legal father, the state went after him for child support. He obviously couldn't pay. Girlfriend's plan B.